Thank you to our sponsors for today's video, Amber, StarCharge, and Nokian Tyres. Amber offers a modern extended warranty for your Tesla's battery and more without the burden of long-term contracts or upfront payments. Check out the link in the description below to browse their plan options and get started with a free over-the-air diagnostic check. This video is also brought to you by StarCharge, the largest EV charging manufacturer in the world, and they are also a provider of residential or commercial battery storage and microgrid solutions. This video is also brought to you by Nokian Tyres, a leader in safety and sustainability. Maximize performance and efficiency with their made in USA all-season tires and their dedicated Hakkapeliitta EV winter line from the inventor of the winter tire. Learn more at nokiantyres.com/EV. Hello and welcome to another out of spec reviews video, and welcome to an actual DC charger ownership or usage update. I've had this long-term loan from Autel, a 40 kilowatt mobile DC charger, and I've been putting it through the ringer. And I'd like to update you on how I've been using it, how it's been performing, show you some of the back-end software features that I'm able to get. It's pretty incredible. Tell you some things that I think can be improved, of course, and give you a general review of the 40 kilowatt DC compact unit from Autel. A lot of people actually, by the way, have reached out because I've made some tweets about this. I've featured this in some videos over the last few months about where they can buy one. I'm going to help you understand where you could buy this one and where you can hook it up. A lot of people can just buy a DC charger. I'll make sure that whole process is laid out in this video as well, since we got an abnormal amount of questions of people wanting to buy these things. And I'm like, hell yeah, they're awesome. So let me walk you through what I've done with this 40 kilowatt mobile Autel unit. So I've been using my 40 kilowatt mobile Autel unit for 3 months now, and I would say I've really learned it. I've put it through its paces. I've used it outside of its normal standard operating range to really stress test it, and I have a really good idea of what I like, what I don't like, and of course I've been able to play around with a lot of the software backend, which is sort of optional. So the way I mostly use this charger is actually not really digging into the backend software so much. This is extremely powerful, and I'll show you some of the cool stuff we can dig into. And when I'm testing a new vehicle, whether it's a prototype vehicle or a pre-series vehicle, or even like a new car that we haven't tested, I always plug it into this to at least log that initial charge, and I get all the nerd data out of it. The voltage range of a new battery pack, for example, this can tell me everything about the charging session. So I'll at least walk you through how I use this most of the time, which is sort of in a dumb off-network mode. This is just a 40 kilowatt connection. I'll walk you through how I have it powered up, hooked up, all that stuff. It's pretty cool. Got super long cables. This one comes with 25-foot Amphenol cables. These are, what are the actual amperage on these things? They're 150 amps, but you actually, with the 40 kilowatt unit, we don't get super close to 150 amps. Close, but not over. So they're perfectly rated. I can plug it in here, and then you'll see the charger automatically starts. So you can see it's linking with the vehicle, it's matching vehicle protocol, and it's gonna walk me through each of the handshake steps. Most of the time I just plug in, walk away, don't even pay attention to it, and it just works. It's awesome. So yeah, you can see it's matching the protocols of the vehicles. It's now putting high voltage on the line to make sure that there's no, breaks. There's no, you're not going to shock anyone when you start charging. It's all part of ISO 15118 communications. And boom, there we go. We are charging. And you can see it starts first at 19.6 kilowatts. That's one of the two 20 kilowatt power modules in here. After typically 50 seconds, 45 seconds, something like that, it will spin up the second module in here and then rip 40 kilowatts. So that was something at first where I'm like, do I have the configuration settings wrong? Why are we only doing 20 kilowatts? And I like unplugged and replugged, and then I'm like, let me just give it a minute, and then it'll whoop, ramp up all the power modules. So it's just an interesting behavior that this one has. Of course, I wish it would just do 40 kilowatts right off the bat, but we're talking about 40 seconds now into the charging session. Come on in so you guys can take a look right here. Boom, 40 kilowatts in less than 45 seconds. That's as easy as it is. So this has been so nice to have as a personal sort of DC charger. Of course, we have other units around, the Autel 240 kilowatt all-in-one, the X-Charge Net Zero series, and a few other chargers that are on their way. Permitting has really held up our entire install process. I'm actually at the point where I'm looking for another location to install some chargers as well. We'll have updates coming to you when possible, but that is really the beauty of this baby mobile DC charger. I've been able to have the benefits of even low power charging, 1 to 2 hour charging sessions here at the office to completely charge a typical car. The e-tron has, roughly just over 80 kilowatt hours. That's 2 hour charging on this from 0 to full. That's super convenient for me, especially with testing and keeping my batteries relatively low for storage. And I can show you how I have this one hooked up. Because it's such a small unit and it's on wheels, it doesn't require the same, I would say, massive permitting challenge that sometimes the big all-in-one units or even the split systems do especially. I have just a 480 volt 3-phase red plug, which a lot of commercial buildings have 480 volt capable. And actually a surprisingly high number of our viewers have requested to buy this. They're like, Kyle, I can't buy this online. Where do I buy it? How do I get it? And so many of our viewers, I didn't realize, are responsible for managing fleets of EVs, hotel management. We had someone, parking garage people, folks that just want to have their own DC charger at their office or place of business to charge up a bunch of cars. This unit makes so much sense considering the low cost and the ease of installation without crazy permitting, of course. That is really one of the key benefits of having something like this. Yes, of course, I'm excited about the big boy all-in-one chargers. The battery integrated units as well, I think are really cool and really intriguing. But just like cars, you want a sports car for the weekend, you want a family hauler for the day today, you want a off-roader. I think it's cool to have different types of chargers for different use cases. And well, this one I've just been using all the time. If you come on over here, I'll just show you a quick glimpse at some of the software. You can see I can have real-time monitoring of this charger. You can see right now I'm doing 40 kilowatts right there, which is absolutely awesome. I can come over here to our site, which I've configured with just this single Autel unit at the moment in Autospec Powerhouse. This is sort of Autel's back-end system. And what's cool about this is it doesn't just work with Autel chargers. This can actually integrate with other chargers of other makes as well. So it's kind of convenient for me. So let's say I end up putting in a Alpitronic Hyper 400, I could actually still view that charger through the Autel sort of back-end system if I wanted to. And to show you some more things in here, we can play around, but we've named this charger Kevin. I can come in here, you can see it's rated at 40 kilowatts. You can see our connector status. If I come in here, you can see this is our charging session right now. So we're sitting at 100 amps continuous. The e-tron has started at 26% and it's at 29% right now. If you look here, that matches exactly with what's happening on the charger, real-time monitoring. You can see the voltage of the e-tron as well. We started at 390, we're now at 395 as we put some charging voltage on there. You can see our connector status over the last few days, what's been going on. And it's really, really awesome. You can go through the configuration of the charger, so many different settings and things that are happening. It's really amazing how much information you absolutely get here. So I can basically take all of the data off this charger, throw it on a big display if I wanted to, integrate it in with the rest of the building's electric usage metrics. It's a really awesome back-end situation. So that's just a very high-level overview of this mobile 40 kilowatt charger with software. Let's just talk a little bit more about what this is and some of the use cases I think that it actually makes sense in. First of all, this thing being on wheels is perfect to move around. You can put as long, pretty much of a pigtail as you want to get to a 3-phase connection. So let's say, there's probably going to be some voltage drop. So 50 feet, maybe 70 feet. I don't know exactly what the maximum would be. My friend Dan at Autel would be able to sort of help you figure that out. In my case, I just needed a small line so I could hook this into a generator or hook it into here at the office. But you can basically put this in a parking lot and just charge cars. If you're an overnight hotel parking, valet, you have an office full of people with EVs, I think it's super convenient. Not only can you charge just one car at 40 kilowatts, you can also take your second connection, which you can configure to be NACS or CCS, but CCS is pretty common right now just because there's not very many UL listed NACS cables, although they are fully being integrated into Autel's lineup. You can actually plug in multiple vehicles. So you can do 2 at once, and it'll just basically, there's 2 20 kilowatt power modules in here, same power modules that are in the 240 kilowatt Autel unit. They're totally swappable, which is really cool that they have their same base system adapted to different sizes of units and power units. And you can charge 2 cars at 20 kilowatts each. You would just dedicate 1 power module to each car, because again, that power module has to be voltage matched to the battery pack. Some other things that I really love about this unit, other than it just being on wheels, is the quietness. This thing is running at its loudest possible volume right now, which is really quiet. It doesn't really get hot. It's just the airflow is moving through it. And I've even by accident left like a cardboard box up against the side of the unit where it pretty much starved it of airflow. And I did a deep charging session. I want to say on my Rivian added like 90 or 95 kilowatt hours. It sat running full send for hours, and the charger never complained, never derated, never cared, never an issue in the world. So I'm really impressed overall. Again, it's just been 3 months, but I've been using this a ton. My friends have been using it. Colleagues here at the office have been using it. We try and use it as much as possible, and it has given us 0 glitches. In fact, it's given me so much cool insight to the charging data on each car, even letting me see the communications between the charger and the car. So I can look at the charge parameters and the vehicle, discovery process when you first plug it in, and learn how different cars communicate with the charging hardware and software. Speaking of software, this charger does support complete over-the-air software updates, and there's a little secret menu I'm going to go into. So let me just pull that up for you really quick. I got to put in my secret password. Okay, boom. And you can see now I'm in sort of the nerdy menu of the charger. And this is where I can check for updates, and boom, there's actually an update available. The charger is currently charging, so I'll unplug. We'll see what that is. That's cool. That must have just popped up, because even we checked yesterday, Alyssa, or earlier today, and it didn't have an update. So that's brand new. That's cool. I can go through, I can set my own, sort of screensavers. I can view alerts on the charger and fix them and help get diagnostics. But of course, I don't have to do this on the unit. It doesn't require human interaction. Everything I can do here, I can do completely remotely from anywhere in the world, as long as this has an internet connection. Now, I spec'd this charger without an internal SIM card in it, because I just don't need it. It's here at the office hooked up to Wi-Fi, or I have it, again, we've used this mobily on a diesel generator on a trailer. That's not its intended use. This is not really meant to be used while being shaken around in transport, but it works, and we haven't broken it yet. And I hit some huge bumps, and I've taken it down dirt roads on washboard, which is like really hard for power electronics. Again, I don't know how many years of abuse it can handle it, but right now it's showing almost none whatsoever. And I just think it's really cool how freaking hardy this thing is. Now, I just hook it up to my Rivian's hotspot. I typically tow it with the Rivian on the trailer with the generator hooked up to it, and then I still get full connectivity. I can monitor the charge from inside the car on my iPhone or iPad or Mac or whatever computer you want. To me, there's not enough good things I could say about this. And there's probably a lot of EV owners out there, a lot of you viewers, even private owners of EVs, not necessarily fleet operators, that would kind of like to geek out with this. For me, even if I don't need to charge fast, sometimes I just plug in here to like look at the data and look at the temperature rise and look at how much voltage the car is at as over a charging session. There's just so much fun things that you can pull from this. And what's cool is so many people can install these at commercial properties. Now, this is not a 208 or 240 volt capable charger. It does require 3-phase. And I think that's one of the 2 improvements I would like to see Autel make on this particular unit. The first is the weight. This is just a bit too heavy for me to pick up by myself. It really is 2 people, sometimes 3. This is not light. And even though it is on wheels, when you have to get it up and over an obstacle, for example, if I wheel it outside, these ridges over the garage door and over into here, the garage, it's pretty difficult for it to clear these inclines and declines. So I would say the weight, it'd be really awesome if we could get like 200 pounds off of this thing and just make it super light. I don't know if that would even be possible. I'll show you inside the unit here in a little bit, but that would be really great. And the second thing that I would really like to see out of it is, of course, the 240 and 208 volt connection point. Thankfully, I didn't have to put this in. My garage here at the powerhouse had a 480 volt connection, boom, right here. So I just I could have hardwired it in, but I wired it into a red plug, a 3-phase red plug, which are fairly common at racetracks, office buildings, parking garages, really any heavy industrial building has plugs like this, so this can plug into it. And then the only thing for generators is generators have cam locks on them. And you can make a three-phase red plug to cam lock connection, and that's how I have this hooked into generators in that sense. So let's take a look at the software update available on this one. I'm going to stop charging on the e-tron. Now I can stop it either on the unit or on the car. I'll just stop it here on the car. The charger will automatically pop up with a window that says, hey, you've delivered 7.4 kilowatt hours. And I again have the charging set to free vend. So we ended at 36% state of charge. That's really awesome. I can also email me a receipt. No need to do that, of course. And you can see the connector A and connector B are completely available. Now, this is sort of the standard mode. If you're a fleet that you don't want someone, using the charger, if you leave it outside, you can have it set to a RFID card, so you can give your colleagues, your drivers, whoever, an RFID card to tap. You can do it through the Autel app through a QR code, or of course you can even get a credit card reader on here if you wanted it to be publicly available. So plenty of different options to order this particular one. Let me just head over here into our secret menu again. I'm not going to tell you my password. Okay, in we go. And let's take a look at what updates we have. So it says update available, and it says charge control unit and charger UI update. Let's do it. Why not? Getting the latest version from server. Please wait. I love when things get over-the-air updates. This software, by the way, is so snappy, so responsive. It's even faster at responding than most in-car software updates or software stacks are. It's pretty amazing. Downloading pretty quickly at the moment. I'm really curious to see how this goes. Let's see, downloaded, completed, installing the charge control unit. Connector is currently unavailable. Okay, so the charger is not able to be used right now. 10% done, 16% done. Man, going pretty quickly. May as well just keep this going. Autel, of course, makes a bunch of different DC chargers. This one, I think, works for most people. A lot of, again, private users can use it. So in the description to this video is my friend Dan's email address. Autel was so cool to say, okay, if any of our viewers wanted to buy one of these, I think the MSRP is right around $15,000 or $16,000, something like that. But they're going to give 10% off, which is not an insignificant amount of money on something this expensive. Keep in mind, that is one of the cheapest DC chargers that can be on the market. Something that's this high quality, this connected. I think it's a pretty damn good deal, no question. Especially when you consider some of the big boy chargers like this 240 kilowatt unit. This is not in the $15,000 or $16,000 range. This is in the times many multiples of that. I don't actually know what that goes for, but that can't be cheap. I can't wait to get that one installed and do some hardcore fast charging sessions. But that has the same exact UI as this. So now we've installed, it's going through update complete, and that's it. Didn't even have to reboot. Nope, it did have to reboot. Okay, so it's shut off. Let's see if it auto turns on. Could be interesting. You can spec, I think, short or long cables. You don't necessarily have to get this on wheels either. You can have like a hardwired version or one that you can actually just plug a plug into. There's tons of different specs, and they're pretty customizable. So reach out to Dan, emails below, and I'm curious if you guys get one, what you end up thinking about them. Of course, I can only test this for my own private use, and I try and have everyone charge on it and beat the crap out of it and do everything with it. But if you guys end up running these, using these for your fleets, or for even your own personal use, would love to hear some of your comments, of course. So there we are. We're rebooted. Really fast startup procedure. Let's give it a second. It says the plugs are unavailable. Still says unavailable. Still says unavailable. There we go. Online, or offline, I should say. And it just has to connect back to Wi-Fi. But you can charge. I'm just going to show you this before it even connects to a cell connection. Just have Alyssa step over that cable there. The charger's already reconnected to Wi-Fi. I can see it says available in there now, but it doesn't need to be. I'm going to plug in the e-tron. And again, I have this set to just free vend. So automatically starting, matching, and you're good to go. So that entire time is all it took to software update a DC charger. If any of you guys are familiar with like the Electrify America, BTC, or Signet units going through software updates, someone has to like remote in, control like a Windows screen on the charger, do all this crazy stuff. I can just either schedule them through the software update here to happen at 2 in the morning or whenever, or I can again do it on unit, and that's literally as long as it takes. It seems normal to us as iPhone users, as Android users, as car, Tesla drivers and things like that. That's how software updates are. It's so hard to explain to you that doesn't really happen in the DC charging world at all. We're already up to 19 kilowatts, and again, it'll spin up the second module here in a little bit. So I have to say a huge thank you to Autel for letting me use this unit. Of course, it's been incredibly useful to charge cars at DC slow charging speeds, if you will, just here at the office. This has been wonderful. It's helped us charge cars ahead of Race to Vegas, after Race to Vegas, the pickup truck comparisons, and more. I've just had the e-Sprinter this week, been doing a bunch of stuff. This has been getting it topped up in between all the testing. It's made my workflow so much better. And I think a lot of people will benefit from it. And you can see instantly reconnected online, the power shooting up here. Everything is just so integrated. It's amazing. I love this. And it seems so normal to most of us because most of us are used to really good integrated technology. Again, doesn't exist in the DC world. This is really slick. No one can argue against that. I think the pricing's great. Again, they got that deal for out-of-spec viewers if you guys want to go for it. Huge thanks to these guys for letting me borrow and run this for the last few months. We'll see you on another one again soon. Dan's email's in the description below if you want to buy one. I'm only saying that because so many people have emailed me to get these things. There you go. There's really not much comparable on the market that is as well integrated, as high quality, as nice to use. So thanks for watching. See you on another one again soon. Bye-bye.